So very good morning to all of you.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning. So we'll soon start the session. Right now we have 108, okay, 108 attendees who have already joined. So please wait for next 2 minutes and then I will start. In the meanwhile, let me share the screen. From this session onwards, we will start the network layer chapter. But before we go and discuss the network layer chapter, I think the discussion related with the how the internet works, how the network works, that discussion was pending. So let me complete that discussion first and then we will go for the network layer chapter. So can you please acknowledge whether we have discussed this topology in our session, like the topology which is available on your screen, whether we have discussed this topology or not? How the addresses are assigned, how the TCP/IP protocol works. We have discussed about PC0 and server 0, like PC0 is a source and server 0 is a destination. So do you have any knowledge regarding how the IP addresses are assigned, how the source port and destination port is assigned, and how the MAC address is assigned? Because this topology can be treated as the topology of the internet, and there is one point in your syllabus in chapter number 1, introduction chapter, example network. Okay, one point is there, example network. So this point example network is related with the topology which is available on your screen. So you should have the idea about how PC0 is communicating with server 0. Let me start the recording first. Just a minute. And please keep notebook and pen with you. And please ask me the question. If you have any question, you can type through chat or you can directly ask me, okay? Because the permission to unmute yourself is given to all of you. So you can ask me the question directly or you can type the question in the chat window, chat box. I will refer your question, read your question and I will answer your question. So yes, now the recording has started. So let me okay, so the recording is on. Let me share the screen again. So can you tell me PC0, if PC0 wants to access google.com, PC0 wants to access google.com. So what PC0 will append as a source port address and as a destination port address? Please go through with the topology which is available on your screen and please keep notebook and pen with you. And please write one important statement all are requested to write the important statement. Am I audible or not?
Sir, your screen
Can
is
you
not
please
visible.
acknowledge? Because I am getting the message that there is some problem in the microphone or speaker. So can you please acknowledge whether I'm audible or not?
Sir, you are audible, but your screen is not visible.
Just a minute. Okay. So I'm not able to hear you. So let us change. Let me change the configuration. Yes, just a minute. I think there is some disturbance, there is some problem in the audio. You people are getting my voice properly, but I think there is some problem in the speaker. Okay, just a minute. Screen sharing was removed. Okay. So I hope that now this screen is visible to you.
Yes. Yes, sir.
Just a minute, just a minute. I think I have to leave this session and I have to again rejoin this session. So please wait for a while because I'm not able to get the voice like your response. I'm not able to get your response properly. So just a minute, just a minute. Please give me 1 or 2 minutes of time. So I hope that now you are able to listen me properly. Just a minute, let me provide you the permission to unmute yourself so that you can respond. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay, now you are audible to me. So
Yes, sir.
let me share the screen again. Sorry for the disturbance. Please go through with the topology which is available on your screen and tell me whether we have discussed, like whether you are aware about how the addresses are assigned. If PC0 is if PC0 wants to access google.com, then what PC0 will assign as a source port and destination port? Can you please tell me? I hope that now the topology is visible to all of you. So what about the source port address and destination port address? PC0 wants to access google.com and Google's web server is available, and the IP address of the Google's web server is 103.0.10.1. IP address of PC0 is 172.16.0.12. So whether we have discussed this topology in detail or not, and if it is discussed, if we have discussed, then tell me what is the source port and destination port value. Are you getting what I am asking? So what is the source port value and destination port value which is assigned by PC0? MAC address, physical addresses are available, and range of port address is also known to you. It ranges from 0 to 65535. I have highlighted that part. Port address ranges from 0 to 65535. If I want to get the information about the port addresses which are open in my machine, which are running, so how to get the information about the port address? Let me save the entire screen so that I can show you how we can derive the value of the port address. So right now my computer is communicating with all of you. Right now the communication is going on. So our devices are there on the network. Our devices are connected with the internet. Now if I want to check the port addresses which are running in my machine, the port addresses which are open in my computer, then what is the process? How I can check? Am I audible or not? Yes, can you please acknowledge whether I am audible or not? Okay. So can you tell me what is the process? What is the procedure to check the port addresses which are open in my computer? The port addresses which I am using. So if I type netstate command, then is it possible to get the information about the port addresses which are running in my machine, which are open in my machine? Is it possible to get the information about the port address? You can see the output of the netstate command. Netstate stands for network statistics, and we have to execute this command on the command prompt. So netstate is providing me the output with protocol which is used in the transport layer, IP address, connection state, whether the connection is established or not, whether it is there in the time wait state. So is it possible to get the information about the port address by executing the netstate command? And if yes, then tell me where the port address is available. Yes. Who wants to respond? So please write one important statement in your notebook. Please write one important statement in your notebook. MAC address or physical address in the bracket MAC address. Please write this statement, and then later on you have to relate this statement with the topology which we have considered. Okay, and then you have to inform me about the port address as well. So please write this statement. Physical address in the bracket MAC address changes from node to node. Physical address changes from node to node. While IP address does not change from node to node. Physical address changes from node to node. Physical address or MAC address changes from node to node, while the IP address does not change from node to node. While the IP address does not change from node to node. So if you interpret this statement, then what do you mean by this? Physical address changes from node to node, while the IP address or logical address does not change from node to node. So before we go and discuss, before we relate this particular statement with the topology, our topology, can you please tell me where the port address is available? If you try to interpret the output of the netstate command, yes.
After colon.
Yes. So 127.0.0.1, if you highlight or if you fetch the first statement or the first line, then TCP is the transport layer protocol. So this output is the output generated from my computer. So in my computer, if the transport layer TCP protocol is used, the IP address which is available, it is 127.0.0.1. So it is the IP address of the self. Okay, by default, every computer, by default, every device has the IP address 127.0.0.1. It is known as loopback address. It is known as the IP address of the self. So 127.0.0.1 is the IP address of the computer which you are using. So 127.0.0.1 is the output, it is the IP address of the computer which you are using. So it is the default IP address of my machine, and then colon and then 60050. This value, it is the value of the port address. Okay, it is the value of the port address. And foreign address, it means this computer has communicated with a computer whose device name is CC1-25. Okay, whose device name is CC1-25, and it is communicated through port number 60051. It is the port address. So in each and every line, if you consider line number 1, 2, 3 or any other line, then in each and every line you will find the source port address as well as the destination port address as well as the state of the connection. Okay, connection is successfully established. Here you can see in the output of the command, netstate command, in the first statement, in the first line, you can see two local computers are communicating. 127.0.0.1 is communicating with CC1-25 computer. So in this case, it is not the communication with the web server. It is not the communication with the global device. It is not the communication with the well-known device. And that's why source port value and destination port value, these two values are the values of the private port address. Okay, port address can be public port address, it can be private port address. So public port address is 80 for HTTP, 21 is there, it is assigned to well-known service like SMTP or FTP. So all the services, all the protocols which are working at the application layer, they are using public port value. So for HTTP protocol, public port value which is used, it is 80. Similarly, FTP, Telnet, DNS, SMTP, TFTP, there are so many services, there are different protocols available which works at an application layer, and they are using some port number. Okay, and that port number is a public port number. But whenever it is the case of a private computer, it is the case of private computer is initiating the communication to private computer, then in that particular case, private port address is used, and you can see the same thing is appearing as an output of the netstate command. So now let us discuss our topology. In our topology, source port value and destination port value. Source port value will be 60021, and if I say that destination port value will be 80, then this is correct or incorrect? Tell me. It is the case of the topology similar to the internet.
Correct, sir.
Okay, and whenever the server tries to respond back to the client, server reverses these two entry. So server will use source port value 80 and destination port value equals to 60021. Okay, so source port and destination port is now it is known to you. Now tell me something about MAC address and refer the statement which I have informed earlier. You have to tell me, you have to explain me what will be the value of the source MAC address and destination MAC address, because data link layer has to assign source physical address and destination physical address.
Sir, it will change from node to node.
So source MAC, okay, source MAC equals to
111.
111, sir.
and then destination MAC equals to
333.
333.
okay 333. Source IP equals to 172, yes,
1.16.
.12, and destination IP equals to
103.0.10.1.
The point is IP address remains same throughout the communication, source IP and destination IP.
Yes, sir, it remains.
MAC address changes from node to node. So this is all about the communication which we can consider. Now the question is, listen me carefully, please listen me carefully. If PC0, please listen me carefully. If PC0 initiates the communication with the Google's web server multiple times, then in that particular case, what will be the value of the source port and destination port? PC0 has initiated the communication with google.com multiple times, and we can consider 2 times. Okay, so for the first case, if the source port value is 600,021 600 and 21, if we consider source port as 60021 and destination port equals to 80, then for the second connection, source port value will be same or different. Both the cases, PC0 is communicating with the Google web server, so destination port remains 80. Okay.
But there is much amount of disturbance.
Just a minute. So are you able to see the screen?
So screen is visible, but when you speak, when you end the statement, then
Okay.
some kind of disturbance is there.
Okay. Just a minute. So in that particular case, I have to repeat the statement. Just a minute. Okay. So I hope that now I am properly audible to you, and if you are not able to listen me properly, if some problem is there, then in that particular case, I will try to speak the same statement multiple times so that you will be able to answer the question. See, my question is, from my computer, from my PC, if I type google.com, if I try to access google.com multiple times, then in that particular case, if you consider that my computer is PC0 who has initiated the communication with google.com 2 times, okay, I have highlighted 2 times the connection is requested by PC0. So for the first request, if the source port value is 60021 and if the destination port value is 80, then for the second connection, source port value will be same or it will be different. This is my question, and you are aware, you know very well, if you consider port address, then port address, it ranges from 0 to 65535, and from 65, if you consider 65535, then from this range 0 to 1524 is allotted as public port, and 152 onwards, 1525 onwards is allotted for private port. So I have already informed you the protocols which are working at the application layer. Okay, if you consider the application layer, then at application layer we have HTTP, we have SMTP, we have Telnet, we have FTP, we have TFTP, and so on. So all these protocols which are working at the application layer, they are using some public port value, some fixed value is assigned as a public port, and HTTP, the well-known port value which is used is 80. Similarly, other services, they will have their own port value. At the transport layer, you have to go with either TCP or UDP. network layer, you have to use IP protocol. At the data link layer, you have to use LLC and MAC protocol, and at the physical layer, data will be available in terms of binary bits. So this is the situation. Okay, this is the actual situation. At the application layer, you can have any protocol which you can use as per your requirement. So our requirement is to access google.com, and to access the google.com, we have to use HTTP, because you all know very well, if you want to access any website by typing its URL, by typing www.google.com, then web browser will append HTTP as a prefix. So we have to use HTTP. My question is, if the same computer, listen me carefully, if the same computer is initiating google.com multiple times, then what will be the value of source port and destination port for two different connections which are initiated from the same computer? Are you getting my question or not? Same computer or a common machine is using google.com, it is accessing google.com multiple times. So in that particular case, what will be the value of source port and destination port? I hope that you have the idea about the question which I am asking. Source port value will be same or different. Destination port value will be same, because in two different browser windows, I am accessing the same site, I am accessing the same website, and it is www.google.com. So destination port will be 80. Okay, if you go through with this topology, then the server remains common. Destination computer will be the Google's web server only, and source, it is PC0 only, but PC0 has initiated two logical connection. So PC0 wants to access google.com multiple times through multiple browser windows. So in that particular case, if we consider that for the first connection, the source port value is 60021 and destination port is 80, then for the second connection, this value will remain same, 60. What is your answer? What are your thoughts on this? Tell me. Or for the second connection, the source port value will be different. Next case is if PC0 is accessing Google and PC1 is accessing Google, then in this case, source port 60021, destination port 80, and for PC1, source port is 60021 and destination port equals to 80. So for two different computers, PC1 and PC2, is it possible to use the same source port value? And for a single computer which is accessing google.com multiple times, is it possible to use same source port value? Are you getting what I am asking? Case
Yes, sir,
one,
we are getting that.
yes, case one is the case of accessing Google multiple times from a same computer PC0, and case two is a case in which google.com is accessed through multiple PC, different computers, PC0 and PC1. So let me provide you the answer. If I say that for the first case, source port is 60021 and destination port is 80. But for the second connection, the port value can be, or it will be 60022. And for the second case, okay, for the second case, source port is 60021, so it is valid. And for PC1, it is using the same source port value, so it is also valid. And now the source port value for multiple connection from the same computer is correct. So this is correct, and the second case is also correct now. So if I say that the information which is available on your screen is correct, then can you tell me that why it is not possible to use same source port value from a from the single computer? Why we can't use same source port value for two connections which are initiated for?
Because we need a unique address.
Yes. Yes. Unique address. Okay. And then what?
So sir, means like if multiple requests are sent from same address, then
it will create the confusion. It will create the problem. Like, please consider the case. Please consider the case. You have initiated the communication with google.com from browser window 1. Okay. And you have typed google.com and you have typed some search query. You want to search for Microsoft Teams. So in the first browser windows, in the first browser window, in the Google, you have typed Microsoft Teams. Now you are opening the new browser window and you are typing google.com in the second window. You are searching for the other platform like Google Meet or other platform. So in browser window 1, you are searching for Microsoft Teams, but in the second browser window, you are searching for the other LMS, okay, learning management system, Google Meet or any other. So in the first case, it will provide you the information related with the Microsoft Teams because it is a separate connection. And for the second case, it is providing you the information related with the Google Meet because it is a separate connection. So computer will treat both the browser window as a separate connection. And if you use, or if computer assigns same source port for multiple connection for the same browser, for the same server, google.com, then in that particular case, if you type Microsoft Teams in the first browser window, then the same will be reflected in the other browser window because it is a common connection, but actually it is a different connection. So from single computer, if you are accessing the same server multiple times, then multiple source port addresses are assigned. But from two different computer, if you try to access the google.com, then in that particular case, it is possible that two different computer can use same source port value because two different computer, two different PC, they have different IP address, they have different MAC address. So if you combine port, IP and MAC, then this combination will be unique. And because of the combination is unique, two different computers can use same source port address, but same computer has to use different port address for each and every individual connection. So if you have any question, any query related with the port address now, then you can ask me. If you don't have any query, then I think we can conclude here, like chapter 1 is over, and now in the next session I will start the network layer chapter. So please ask me the questions if you have. Feel free to ask me the question if you have related with how the internet works, related with how we can derive the information about the net, about the port address. We have to execute the netset command, and please listen me carefully. having information about port address, having information or deriving the information about port address, it is very much critical information. Port address information is critical information because if you have the idea about the port number which is open, okay, consider the output which is available on your screen. If you are aware about the port numbers which are open, which are in working condition, then through some software or by performing the hacking or through some software, it is possible to shut down the port. It is possible to kill the port. And if you kill the port through some external link or through some software or from your computer, if you try to terminate the port, then in that particular case, the service which is related with that particular port will be abnormally terminated. And if you want to fetch the data of any communication, if you want to fetch the data of any communication, then you can fetch the data of the communication through port number only. And this is the reason behind why port addresses are critical. Why port addresses are critical for any communication. Because if you have the knowledge about port number, then you can intercept the data, you can fetch the data through port number, you can play with the services which are associated with the port number. So port number information is very much crucial. So feel free to ask me the question if you have. Do you have any question? Okay.
No, sir.
Okay. So I have already marked your attendance. Thank you very much for joining the session. Now you can leave. Thank you.